As the prophet of esports, I rely on trustworthy and meaningful data every day. Data from our research partner YouGov offers the most complete view of esports fans and gamers in the world, providing context to who they are, what they think, the brands they buy, and things they do. YouGov's connected insights and research services inform strategy at every level. If you're a team, a brand, agency, or rights holder, you should be talking with YouGov. Their partners measure and maximize ROI and are telling compelling stories with data. Visit yougov.com/gaming-esports to learn more. This one, definitely there weren't many competing opinions, and I'm curious if anyone on this panel is going to have a competing opinion. But the headline here, you guys are going to like this one. If 600-hour Ubisoft Ghost Recon helmet NFTs are gaming's future, I quit. So, interesting headline here. If you guys listened to the Meta Business podcast, which I highly recommend everyone do, it's hosted by Jeff and I. We do it every week. It's on the business stories coming out of the metaverse. We talked about Ubisoft Quartz on last week's show. And what's interesting is now more details have come out about Ubisoft's sort of application of NFTs to their AAA games. And so I love the first sentence here. It says, this week, Ubisoft went ahead with its much derided NFT experiment, culminating in an offering yesterday that seemed almost too absurd to be real. In order to secure the Wolf Enhanced Helmet A in Ghost Recon, you had to have played the game for 600 hours on PC, and even then there were only 250 up for grabs. That's 25 full 24-hour days of Ghost Recon for those keeping score. The idea is once those NFT helmets are secured, there can then be a marketplace where players sell them back and forth within the Ubisoft Quartz system, inflating their value. The other items being sold as NFTs are 2,000 copies of a gun that require no minimum playtime and a pair of pants that only requires 100 hours for the chance to grab one of the NFTs. So I won't get any more into this article, but now that we have more details on Ubisoft Quartz and their integration of NFTs into their AAA games, can someone please defend Ubisoft here? Like, do any of you guys like this? Think this is sort of really visionary?
So they were trying. From a slave labor perspective, they're
from a slave labor,
right on in with the rest of the industry.
No, I really do like it. I mean, you're rewarding your players with some really rare items. It's no different than what's already existing, other than like true ownership of this a digital asset that you can sell. Actually, I have a problem with it in that I don't think they're selling enough of these. You know, I kind of liken it to the sneaker market where they come out with these exclusive, you know, Yeezys and Jordans and things that get resold, as this article mentions, right, and inflate their value. And who's not doing the math? There has to be some like known optimal amount that they can sell, that Ubisoft can maybe retain most of that cash, or I don't know, right? It's just like these numbers seem so arbitrary, and maybe that's to generate hype, but I just feel like there's a missed opportunity in not going bigger. It's my same problem with the Gucci Xbox. I wish they sold 10,000 of them. But isn't that the whole point? You need
sort of a lot of scarcity, otherwise it literally is just a digital in-game item that.
But scarcity between 100 and 1,000, is still the same effect, right? And then you have 10 times as many in circulation that you can profit from. And also, when it's too scarce, then there's also that like, well, I'm never going to get it, so why even try kind of mentality. So I think it kind of also can hurt you.
So the broader question I wanted to bring up was this, something Paul and I talked about a bunch on Meta Business, and I think also want to hear what people in chat have to say, because it's like, I think it's an incredibly important question as we think about kind of the future of blockchain gaming and sort of play to earn. Do you think we're at a point already in the industry where the broader gaming community feels very similar about blockchain games as they did or do about microtransactions and free-to-play games? Because the amount of backlash that this game got and kind of the negativity, even from developers at Ubisoft, I saw an article where there was a lot of backlash internally at Ubisoft. Like, are we at a point? And I kind of didn't see this coming, because I had kind of always, maybe had a very narrow focus, thinking people who are gamers or early adopters of Bitcoin and they're into crypto and sort of it's like digital goods. Oh, wow, they're already doing that in games. Kind of thought this would be a very, like, I thought gamers would adopt this and be very excited about this. Clearly, that has not happened. So, was this just really bad execution by Ubisoft, or is this something of a broader trend that the blockchain gaming industry, which right now is booming and there's hundreds of, literally billions of dollars of venture money pouring into this, is this a market that gamers are not interested in? Like, I think that's something, I wish YouGov would do. Like, that's like a amazing consumer insight study to figure out.
Jeff, it's such a good question, and I would love to see if our chat, first of all, has thoughts, because I don't think we've been able to come up with a good answer. But can I just layer like one thing on top of your question, which is it something that gamers want? But also, why is there so much hate when it doesn't feel that different from what we've already been doing for years, right? Like, and I always come back to my World of Warcraft example and the Frost Saber mount, right? Where you had to do the same quest 1,000 times over. And it was probably way more than 600 hours in total to get something that very few people had. Why was there no backlash? Why is there no hate towards things like that? But you get an NFT helmet and people all of a sudden think this is the death of gaming. Like,
yeah, I love that.
It feels like, look, I don't know. I don't know if I'm saying I'm a proponent of 600 hours to get a helmet, but why is this eliciting such a stronger response? And is that linked to sort of Jeff's question of, do gamers just not want this, and what's the reasoning behind it?
Also, who are these writers that are criticizing that amount of gameplay when if you go into any game in my Steam library, you know what I mean? Like, that's a walk in the park. Like, I just, I don't know. It's just, that's not what I find objectionable about it, the time played, right? So I think we're all nitpicking at different things here. But I love that comparison, Paul, to WoW. I would even take it a step further and say, what about all these people that are buying using real money to get fake currency in those MMOs, where you can like buy these Chinese farmers for fake gold and to own fake, to buy fake things in the WoW item shop that doesn't have any real value. Your character has this sword. Now you can actually buy it or earn something of value here with these NFTs. It's so much better.
The question is, well, I'm not 100% convinced it has any more value, because there has to be a market for it to have value, right? And Chris makes a point here. He says secondary market already showed that helmet was only worth $26. I mean, if you do the math, that's definitely not making minimum wage. Trent says there are different demos for gamers. The gamers that I know that are using legacy hardware are more anti-crypto gaming. And Trent, when you say legacy hardware, I'm assuming you mean PC, although I don't love being called legacy. But Trent says the bleeding edge tech gamers are starving for more of the crypto gaming offers. Interesting. So, there's potentially this argument. I'm curious what you guys think of that there's an actual sort of segmentation of the gamer market.
I just want YouGov to do this. This is so like right up their alley. Tell me everything, YouGov. This is like the perfect study. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm gonna call Ben Parra right after this.
And Chris says NFTs just make DLC look reasonable, and no one likes DLC. Yeah, but it all feels sort of the same. We're just calling things different names. The mainstream gamers don't even know what crypto gaming even offers. Have we already forgotten about Darth Vader in Battlegrounds? I mean, Chris, the offensive part about that in Battlefront, the offensive part about that was that you should be able to play Darth Vader in a Star Wars game. It shouldn't have been locked behind.
And it wasn't even free to play.
It's a little bit different from a cosmetic, right? Francois says intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. Interesting. I mean, you have to believe that... I would think that the proponents of this believe that the helmet is going to have value on third-party marketplaces or on Ubisoft's own marketplace, right? I would assume. And the people who don't like it, I'm still not sure why there's hate for it, right? Like, it doesn't... You can still go play Ghost Recon without any change in what you're doing. So I don't know. I don't know why there's so much hate, but I think it's something to watch. Trent says legacy hardware. What I mean is later gen consoles and discontinued PC hardware. Got it. Okay.